Madam Speaker, the President of the United States.
Multiple continents.
You guys know what this represents?
All people that have gone out there against the mainstream media and said, you're going to call us racist, you're going to call us potential Timothy McVeighs. You are.
What's up? Welcome to PPN. Happy to have everyone. Just got through with a really good show, I felt like, with Martine Rodil. Now it's time to spread more of the word about things that are going on, about things that we should expect And that's what I really try to concentrate on. The biggest thing I want to maybe stress tonight is that there are a lot of people out there working really hard and have been working really hard to bring us the truth. Not only bring us the truth has come after the fact while they were doing everything behind closed doors in the background. And it's been neat to hear about and watch. And wow, I have a lot of admiration for these people. You know, I'm talking about, mainly when I'm talking about the people that I believe are in the background, I'm usually talking about the coalition. Those are the ones I know. Those are the ones I'm watching. But there are so many more, so many good patriots out there that are, man, it's neat to see their expressions from one show to another. It's been, let's take Martin Rodil from Venezuela, adopted by us, you know, loves the United States and has been working behind the scenes for a really long time, alongside with Patrick Byrne, with Gary Bernstein, with many people, in my opinion, many people that make that all gel together and work. But really, when they were overseas, you know, over in Venezuela and 174 probably different countries, finding the whistleblowers. Now, you imagine you're traveling from country to country, and all of a sudden you get a phone call, and it is a Russian spy or a cartel member or a freaking gangster that are blowing the whistle, but the whistle that they're blowing is where a certain person is or who a certain person is that they need to talk to. You need to get in touch with this person because they have a lot of information. Everybody knows it, you know, talking about the cartel and gangsters and freaking some wild characters. You need to get in touch with this person. They know what's going on in China through Cuba and Venezuela and Serbia and Italy, and who has their finger on the button, being able to get that information and get those people secure. First, you got to find out who they are. First, you have to hire people as far as tech engineers and things to get your battleground ready, because it's a communication war. It's a bunch of hacking. It's a bunch of spies fighting spies when you get on the front line. So that's why we've always talked about early on psychological warfare, and that everyone should probably get into it a little bit and figure out, what is this all about? You know, why is it that I'm thinking what I'm thinking? And is somebody in this crazy world trying to make me think things that aren't necessarily true, or making me look over there when I should be looking over here? And how they have engulfed so many different people. And it's a wild battle, being able to see it behind the scenes. So Martin was talking about being, kind of, there was some collaboration with people on his team and people in Washington, D.C., and I believe that in the future, you will hear of new names that maybe have been called up because of their expertise in different different battlefields that we are in. You know, everyone knows that Sean Taylor is, and in fact, if you've watched my show, if you watched On Tap, you know, you've listened to the people that are actually the ones behind the scenes, taking the information and giving it to Trump's administration and sometimes Trump himself. You know, there are so many that you have seen on the show that have briefed Trump himself. So let's take, if you start hearing a lot of information about Act Blue, about certain bonds, about the falsified documents pertaining to buying a house, and where do you go? Or who do you look at? If you want to know about that, you go to Chief Sean Taylor. You know, if you want to know what those things are, that's where you go. There's nowhere else you need to go but to Chief Sean Taylor. Find a show that he's going to be on, and take notes, and you'll know pretty much what's going on there. You'll know. So when it comes to Act Blue, that's where I go. That's who I follow. I talked to him the other night. Talked to him a few times. He was on his way to some really important meetings. I was really excited about that. Of course, I went to Talk Time, and you know, there's a few people in Talk Time that talk to Sean too. That's what's been neat, is the amount of people in Talk Time that are going into the Friday calls and are talking to Chief Sean Taylor and talking to the people that are in the coalition. That has been really fun, and seeing people be able to take the reins and duplicate what others are doing. And I think that's what it's all about. When I see somebody, it's just like working. I happen to do hardwood floors. And if I've got on the big jobs that we're doing, if I've got people that are new, because lots of times you got a lead man, and then you got one or two helpers, sometimes three, depending on how big the job is. And I'll go start a job. And if I find somebody around that is watching and, looking like he wants to get in there and do what I'm doing, well, then I'm going to make sure he knows what to do, get him programmed, and let him get a little experience on it. Now I'm going to watch him after I leave him. I'm going to kind of let him go and kind of watching him, and I'm going to go get something else started. And then somebody else might come in behind me, and they show a little interest, and I get them involved. And then the next job, it goes a little smoother. The next job, it goes a little smoother. And then finally, that person is proficient at that. I can send them to go do that by themselves. I'm trying to duplicate what I'm doing while I'm learning from them at the same time in certain aspects. It's just a continued effort of everybody getting in where they fit in. Where do you fit in? Are you a prayer warrior? Can you be a prayer warrior at your home, around your family, at the dinner table, amongst friends, in a group that you're in? Can you step up and be a prayer warrior? Can you step up and bring information about can you know everything about elections? Can you follow the right people to get the information and really comprehend and be able to answer the questions about how elections were stolen, what to do to make them not be stolen again? Are you that person in your group? So if someone comes into your group and they want to understand, they're like, well, elections, Trump was talking about that. What is that all about? And everybody says, oh, is this person in there? Is this person here? Let's let this person tell you, because they can explain it and it might sink in. Who is explaining things the best? Who has the best knowledge of that? When I go into a room, if we're talking about something, whatever that subject is, whoever knows the most about it should be the one talking about it. kind of like the Storm Summit, kind of like Fraud Fighter Summit. Those people are up there talking because they know what they're talking about, because they are the ones that handed the information over to the FBI and the IRS and different task forces. That's the real deal. You're seeing them right in front of your eyes. It's done. And now you see them out in public because they have already gotten their information out. Now, there are new whistleblowers, in my opinion, coming out of the woodworks, because and that was always going to happen. It is a situation where years ago, if you brought out some information, you had a risk of accidentally hanging yourself on a doorknob or in a tree, or slipping on a banana peel and accidentally breaking your back while you shoot yourself in the back of the head. That's the kind of stuff that was happening. Or drowned, maybe even if you're swim every day and are very proficient at it, then there's a good chance that's what's going to happen to you. So who out there is the one in our group that knows about election integrity, who knows how to explain it, who has practiced, who has written it down and has it in their phone or typed it out and has it on their person, so that anywhere they go, they can talk it, because they're living this, because they want to get the information out. They have a need to do it. Who in our group is capable of saying, this is what happens at a committee meeting in your county? Who is the one that tells everybody, hey, you ought to go with a couple of people, or you're fine to go by yourself? This is what they're going to do. You can sit in there and, not say anything, or you can go in there and speak if you want to. You got 3 minutes, and what to expect? Will you get beat up by the opposing team? Should you be concerned? Who out there can do that? And it'd be something that everybody in your group, whether you're from Iowa or Georgia, it's going to be pretty, about the same. Who knows about the bonds? Who can, in your group, when a new person comes in, and by the way, this is the time when new people are coming in to say, what in the world? They're searching for truth. Now, probably not as many as we want, but there are people coming to me saying, wow, I was just asked by a lot of folks, what in the heck is going on? People that I talked to a long time ago, the other day, it was great. And I talked about this on tap earlier, that there's been a significant rise in rear ends in seats at school board meetings and at committee meetings. People are, it's increasing the number of people that are confronting the school board, and that attorneys are getting involved, and there's whistleblowers coming out in those scenarios about serious issues that would not be reported all over the United States. It might just, in fact, it's probably not even reported, in that county, but it's happening because they're trying to deter that information about exposing or allegations coming out of pedophiles in schools. information about abuse of, let's say, children with special needs. I heard a lot about that the other day, and it really, really touched my heart and made me happy that that information is getting out, but it sucks that that stuff is going on. Talking about, there was somebody talking about, inappropriate teacher-student relationships that is prevalent like crazy now. But this surge in public reporting of this was at that time described as kind of a ripple effect, where one person's bravery to come out and bring this information out encourages others to come forward. And it is. It's a ripple effect. It's a grassroots movement addressing things, issues, problems that occur in all of our counties and in our areas that has to do with our children, with our families, with our friends. And it's something I believe we should, I want to see passion, I want to do better about it myself. When I hear those things, I'm like, okay, I need to figure this out. I need to get involved. I need to do better. How can I, am I doing everything I should? What else can I do? And I'm learning myself, because it's kind of like a child, if you don't do something every day and you weren't raised up doing that certain thing, you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And that's why I believe that talking to our children, since they're your children, whatever capacity you think is what's right for you, but talking to them, they know what's going on. They're like, wow, something's crazy. And it's neat when you have children that are 22, 23, 25, whatever, down to a younger age that are involved, because I believe that kids are talking about it, and that is going to have something to do with their parents getting involved with it. Because if they're ignoring it and just like, I don't want to mess with all that, I don't want to see that, turning it off every time it's on the TV, that's what they get to do. They get to do anything they want to. Anybody gets to do what they want to. That's what's so great. We get to do as we please. But at the same time, if your children are asking about it, it might be time to have some answers. Answers like, about elections, about craziness going on with the leaders and the elites of our country. At some point, people need to know that. It needs to be talked about, and I know people say, we don't mix church and politics. And well, maybe we should. Who made that freaking rule? I don't know. I didn't make it. And I'm not necessarily living by it that I know of. Now, if it says something in the Bible that I don't know about that, then maybe Kathy or freaking somebody, Valerie, maybe somebody can tell me. But as of right now, I'm going to talk about it. But people are seeing people like Nick Shirley come out. A lot of young people that are young. God, a 30-year-old looks young to me now. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, they're watching that. They're hearing about everything that's going on. It's wow. It's neat. It's finally getting out to all the communities, not just the patriot communities. It's getting out where it's supposed to be. Now, there are several things that are going to be coming out here pretty soon. I believe. I think you will start hearing some things about some stuff out of Kentucky that you might want to be checking out. I think that in the very near future, Martine Rodale's going to bring some more stuff out. In fact, can you tell that all of them are bringing out? It's kind of like when Don Jr. said, declassify everything. And people are just putting stuff all over the place. Poor Mandy, she put stuff out and they done kicked her out of everything for posting my stuff. I didn't know it was that bad, but posting the short videos, you know, she does that. They just kicked her out of the whole world, kicked her off social media altogether. And that's because they freaking suck. So we'll have to figure that out. I don't know how to figure that out, but by cracker we'll figure it out sometime. There are narratives that are going to be going around. One narrative is that there is going to be imminent government action from what Trump came out with on Thursday of last week, and that home run, in my opinion, that he brought forward. I think he did a fabulous job. I think that it was freaking out there. It's what I needed to hear. It was what I felt like I was told I was going to hear. I still think we're going to hear some more stuff about major high-profile arrests coming September-ish, October. I think July is freaking crazy. All this is kind of starting right now. It's like a new phase going on. We're going to hear about the foreign interference. Now it's going to be out. The documents are released. Now there's going to be people that is, you know, you can't make happy for freaking nothing. And everything's going to be terrible. You know, a lot of Democrats are going to do that. A lot are going to, you can't talk to them, you know. So I try to fire most of them and just get them out of my world, because then new people can come into my social media and stuff. It's kind of fine with me. I didn't want them in my life anyways. Bye. That's what I like to say to them. But the other day there was somebody talking about a big red button that was pushed at a lot of people didn't know what that was, but it would be cool, you know, if there was a group out there that knew that there was a way for somebody to push a button if all else fails and the Democrats wouldn't win, Trump would win. And it would be cool if somehow information got to some very influential and probably very elite, rich, bright, smart folks, and they were able to stop anybody from pushing that red button. So if anybody asks you about a red button, let's say that red button, in my opinion, would probably have been pushed when it was going to be used to switch votes from Trump to whoever he was running against in the 2024 election. And I believe that'd be cool if it was successfully done. Now, I don't know, but that would be what I'd say. Executive orders are coming down the line. The thing is that executive orders, they have ignored a lot of them. They ignored, kind of like they ignored Tina Peters, you know, where he gave her a pardon. Now, how you say, how can you do that? If how in the world can you do that? Well, it's a bunch of foreign actors that don't freaking care about anything. They have not had any repercussions, because the people that would put any repercussions on them are actually their bosses and their friends and their cousins and the judges that would be on, going over their case. It was a very good plan. They did really good. They just didn't count on Hillary losing and all this kind of starting. So it's amazing that we're in this position we are. It was really, really neat. I felt comfortable about saying, maybe Wednesday of week before last that, hey, all right, here it comes, because I haven't had a time frame, exactly, but then when I heard some things, like tectonic shift and this is going to change everything. And it's going to start on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then go on for a couple of weeks. Well, then all of a sudden Trump comes out on Thursday and brings the freaking heat. And there's nothing they can say about it. They're going to say it. They're going to say, oh, he's lying. He's trying to be a ruler. He's trying to steal elections. People are going to bring up freaking every excuse why Trump's terrible and this and that. And I just don't even freaking listen. That dude has never lied. He's doing everything he can. I personally know people that are talking to him and you can look at his kids and just be very comfortable, in my opinion. I look at, how are people's kids acting, and they had something to do with it. That's a neat scenario. I think anybody that is, the way things are going, I couldn't even consider being against him. It's so unreasonable to me. But luckily we're all, well, not in this case, but we're different. And we think about things different, and that's cool. Just, whatever. I'm going to stay on my path, and I hope you stay on yours. And all the stuff that is, look over here instead of over there, By the way, Tulsi, there are people, in my opinion, that are, I'm not going to say this. If you can find out people that are close to Trump or in his administration that live on maybe military bases or are there a lot, they've got a pretty hefty job. People that are, watching their back, and they have people watching their back. It's big. Tulsi Gabbard, had an agreement with some people about protective custody of maybe some people that were providing really good, solid information. And that would be original data and not copies. People that came into our country maybe that said, yes, I'm going to be a whistleblower, and decided I've got these documents of people in our administration, not Trump's administration, but in previous administrations that were really with China. And there's so many of them that, golly, it's crazy. Bunch of communists. And these communists, they're not trying to play patty cake. These people in New York, they're not trying to move something in over they are doing that over a long period of time, but they also want you to have a problem right now. They want you in trouble. They want you sick. They want you gone. And they want to bring in new laws. The elite, the city of London, wants that to happen. They don't want you to have hand-counted paper ballots. They don't want you to have free and fair elections. They don't want you to have free and fair money. They want to keep you in slavery. And when you don't have free and fair money and free and fair elections, you are pretty much enslaved. Oath Keeper Bill, we have grand juries many folks are unaware of. We have at least 3 now in Florida, Oath Keeper Bill. 2 of them, I would say, if I was a betting person, I'd say 2 of them are pretty much probably coming to a conclusion. They've got what they need. Now, is that going to continue on? Yeah, there's still things going on. One of them might even be at a military base. One of them might be in Fort Lauderdale. One of them might be in Miami. I don't know. There are, wow. People were moved onto our soil under the Department of Justice with guards and protection that have really brought a lot of stuff out. And it started happening 15 minutes after Trump's inauguration. 15 minutes after Trump's inauguration. There were people at the door waiting to get in the United States. Some of them might have got in through a back door some way. Some of them might have had help from some really high up people in the administration. You know, not that they did anything wrong. They're American, some of them American citizens, but some of those American citizens that have been out doing things all around the world were told, you better get out of here. They're going to kill you. They're going to kill you. So it's neat to watch this new phase we've got going on. It is going to be a doozy. You're going to hear things, and other people are going to hear things that you know maybe or know of, but we're fixing to put the puzzle together. That's what's neat. And it is the people we're fighting, it is a bloodline families, leadership of those people. It is China. It is Cuba. It is Venezuela. It is Serbia, Italy, so many, NATO, so many. That's why we're seeing so many of these things happen. And they had every facet of this thing under, going. I mean, how can I say it without getting kicked off of a place? Maybe a virus going around had something to do with getting things ramped up and going. It's amazing people would go to that extent. So they're serious about it. But I believe that the Lord's got this under control. I believe he's got the right people working at the right time. We are all doing our part as good as we can. Some of us are just learning everything we can. Some people are doing other things. It is, in my opinion, just get in where you fit in. Nobody's watching over anybody's back, and you do what you do. You're your own critic, I believe. I definitely am not trying to criticize anybody for living their life and doing whatever they're doing. I got people in talk time. I never could go out because I wanted talk time. I wanted that group, that I could just be with, like-minded people. I wanted that so bad, but I never could, get it to where I could handle that and go out and go to work. I was able to go out and hang with Charlie and help him and get in some, a group there and work a little bit and get some information and bring it back to the group. But, there's always some kind of issue, and now there's not. And it's these wonderful people, the wonderful mods there, and that's like that in everything. My father he'd come home from work and I was in trouble at school, or I was in trouble on Friday night, or I was in trouble on Tuesday night, or freaking done something freaking crazy. And he's always having to come up to school or go talk to this person to get me out of, whatever. And, one day he was like, you know what? If you just go act right on something, just go do something right. I'll go out and I'll make us some money. I got this thing going, we're working, we're doing a bunch of floors, and I'd be like, all right, I didn't understand what he was saying. I just living, doing the same thing he probably did when he was, my age at that time, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, up till I'm 40. He probably didn't do it that long, but anyways, it was the same way. I kept saying, I can go out here and I can get in with these people. I'm ready to work. I have the ability to, and I want to be involved. And I couldn't, because I was always putting out fires, with people, like-minded people, thinking different and barking at each other. It's not like that anymore. That's why when I say, hey, come join.patriotshoot.com and come see me in Talk Time, because it's a good place. And everybody's cool. Everybody's chilling. Everybody understands what's going on. We have successfully made it to where we're good. We're not worried about anything. We're comfortable. And I want y'all to be that way, That's what it's all about. You can fight a lot better if you're in your mind, and if your mind isn't going freaking nuts, and thinking everybody's, the Lord, apocalypse and all that stuff. That's not what's going on. We're in good shape. We're in good shape. I'm telling you right now, we're in good shape, but we got work to do. Crazy things are coming down the line. It's not going to be a piece of cake, but we're going to make it through it. It's going to be fine. The Lord is not going to forsake us. We have everything. Now we're going to watch that plan happen right in front of us. We already know the information. I don't care where you are. If you're in with different groups and things, what's going on. You've got the gist. In fact, you understand, you've got a freaking doctorate in this stuff. There are so many people out there that know know a lot about what's going on. There's some that put it together and see that what's coming. Watch that narrative, Others do it another way, by getting information from some kind of source, and then it's neat watching that, because I might not have all the information, but I talked to somebody that's got a source that tells me something. I say, oh, that's what they're talking about. That's where they're all going, why they're going to see the DOJ, this, and why they're going to see this task force. I'm like, oh man. So working together to be on stuff we're all like-minded about is a good thing. We don't all have to believe exactly what each other says, but at least we're not hurting things. At least we're going towards the same goal. And I put it like, you can go up a mountain however the heck you want to, whatever, just whatever you do, try to be positive. And you've got in my opinion, if it means anything, we got a lot to be positive about. We've got Mark Cook out there fighting like a dog. We've got Juan out there pointing us in the right directions on things. The coalition is, if you're not watching and understanding what the coalition is doing, I personally think you're missing out. I think that you would be more in tune with what's going on and understand the hard work that's going on. The people that, if you're a Trump fan, if you're not a Trump fan, then don't do that, But if you're a Trump fan, well, then these are the people that are talking to Trump every day. So why not listen to them? I don't know. Hello. If I want to know what's fixing to happen, and I want to know who I want to be around or listen to or get information from the people that are giving Trump information and his group information, and I know who those people are, then why wouldn't I listen to them? I don't know. That's what I would do. I think that you don't have to listen to a whole lot of other stuff. If you want to be going in the right direction, you can just do that. And you will be on the right track. And it's not going to be fun in every case, but there's going to be wins and there's going to be great. And it's going to be okay. We are proving we have the information. We have the proof. And truth seekers are understanding the truth. Truth seekers. They know who was in our elections. We know who was in our elections. We know it. We got it. We've got information from the whistleblowers that pushed the button. We have them on American soil now and have had them on American soil in some cases an hour after Trump's inauguration. Yes. The information is where it needs to go, in my opinion. Now, we're trying to stop a civil war. We're trying to not make that happen. These people in New York, they're not trying to be sweetie pie with anybody. They're nasty, stinky, funky individuals that do not like you. And they have just walked in there and taken over some places in Texas. Who would think they could go into Texas and do that with nobody even just, well, okay, let's do Sharia law. Okay, whatever, just pranced right in there. Some of them, I mean, what the heck? Tennessee, they're all over the place. Georgia, they're freaking all there. They're everywhere. And it's not going to be the funnest thing getting them all out. It's going to be a little crazy. There's going to be some stuff happen. It is what it is. But we're not going to be in the trenches and, civil wars, what we don't want. They've already practiced with the George Floyd stuff. They've practiced what they want to do. They're going to bring that out when they can, when they need to. That's in my opinion, that's their plan. They're going to start saying things that we're saying. Most of what you've seen on TV is already done. Lee said, most of what you've seen on TV is already done. I couldn't disagree with things, that there's things that possibly already done. I do know some things that might be already done, but I'm not going to say that. Let's say I think I know, because I don't know it all. I guarantee you, and I'm not in charge of this freaking thing, but there are big things. And I tell you what, there's a lot of moving parts, And Martine Rodale is a big part, and Patrick Byrne is a big part, and Juan is a big part, and Matt, the whole freaking coalition. Matt Meck is incredible. So proud of him. So proud of all that group. The people that are in America First are just, they've been getting beat up. It's a horror story. It's a freaking horror story, man. It's like, I feel so bad for you, But what I will say is that knowing what they do, they're not the ones you go to if you say, speed this up. They're trying to get people to speed it up too. You don't go to the coalition who is trying to give information to the ones running the freaking show and get them to say, hey, y'all hurry up. People are hurting out here. Well, we know people are hurting. It sucks. But they're not the ones you talk to. They don't do that. They deal with election integrity, bonds, the border, and getting the information about it and sending it up the hill. That's what they're doing. And trying to get people from TAP, in positions where they can be elected. So, if you're thinking that they got something to do with keeping things slowed down or whatever anybody thinks, then, that's just, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. You got to pray about that one, because the Lord's the only one that knows when this is going to happen, if you ask me. So if you're upset that something hadn't happened yet, or if idiots are telling you that something's going to happen Tuesday or Friday and it hadn't happened yet, and you're mad at this one or that one, be mad at the one that told you that. And if they keep doing it over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and you keep listening to them and you let them get you upset, then dang, I ain't got nothing for you. I'm sorry. If somebody is wrong about everything and you listen and you're mad about that and nothing they're saying is happening, I ain't got it. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe change something up. That'd be my suggestion. Or you can just keep doing the same thing and thinking you know what's going on, and it just is what it is. Nobody knows everything that's going on. I have missed so many things, and I don't want to, and I'm not trying to. My timeline has been cray-cray, but finally it's hitting, and I'm happy about that, But I'm the first to say I don't know it all. And I ain't the big bad, deal on this freaking movement, But I hope that what I am saying is giving people a little hope about how we're doing. If I was upset about things and whatever, I wouldn't be able to hide that. But I am happy. I am up. I'm good. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with the people that I'm around. I'm comfortable with the people I'm not around. I'm comfortable not being around the people I don't want to be around. I'm just comfortable. And we got so many people that we can thank for everything that's going on. There are people working hard, and that's okay. They are doing their part. If I do mine, I don't have to be like somebody else. I ain't trying to be the coolest on the block or the big dog or whatever. That's not what this is all about. You don't have to talk down to people. I don't have to yell and freaking, I can just be me and say, hey, get your frequency up. Wake up on the right side of the bed. Things are fixing to start happening September-ish on things we want to happen. And then I think October's huge. I think the Storm Summit, when we come out of that on the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, somewhere in there, it's going to pop loose. But it's already popping loose. We're seeing good things. I hope you're happy. I hope you're comfortable. And I hope you come see us at join.patriotshoot.com. I think we've got a free trial right now. If you do, check out the state chats. Come see me in talk time. Just don't get cray-cray because we're happy. Thanks so much, and hope everybody has a good evening. I'm going to go do another show somewhere, and I guess I'll just keep doing shows all night, whatever it takes. I can speak, or I can take out the trash, or open a car door for somebody. Whatever is clever. I don't freaking care. I'm getting in where I fit in. Thanks so much. Have a good evening, and bye.